in terms of the scoreboard. So I gotta say, this is probably a really balanced group. I gotta say, and it could go either way. Most especially because SEM Esports was able to take the win against Bloodseekers in yesterday's day one. And so I'm expecting to see Bloodseekers, if they want to get that advantage here in terms of seeding, I would imagine they'd want to get some revenge there against SEM Esports as well. But overall, I gotta say, this group so far, it can really the trajectory as to where it can go is extremely flexible, and I can definitely see some of the teams such as Fantasy Esports and OBE Bathala definitely making a comeback here in day two if they really want to make it towards the playoffs.
Yeah, playoffs is going to be a big objective here for all of our teams. We did bid goodbye already to some teams that did get eliminated last week. Ninja Alpha, Zenith Esports. What I'm very surprised was Zenith Esports being taken down quite early into the tournament, because that team had a lot of accomplishments already. They're one of I did mention last week as well, they're one of the two teams only to have defeated Ion Global Esports in a match, in a game, and that is actually a big achievement for some teams. But today, we are going to be bidding goodbye to two other teams as well. Quick shout out as well to everyone that is watching right now. Please do share the live stream to support our teams right now. Thank you so much to Games and Amusement Board. This tournament is brought to you by Day One and Riot Games, of course, Pouchat PH as well, and Lightning Dragon as our co-presenter.
Yeah, and as we go here already into the banning and picking phase, I gotta say, I'm already expecting certain bans gonna be coming out, most especially since Bathala did end up falling to Bloodseekers. So if I recall correctly, in that game, their main problem, admittedly, was, well, in terms of score alone, I would say Dags was just absolutely unbeatable. I believe he did play that Kaisa in that game and absolutely popped off, going like single-digit deaths, double-digit kills. So I would imagine they would want to try and not necessarily target ban him, but maybe ban with some of the junglers. The mid laners, already seeing the AP bans coming out on that Lilia and LeBlanc as well. Some very powerful AP scaling champions that can really damage out the mid game and even into the late game.
Yeah, I think right now there is a lot of focus on Fads and Paeng. Those two people are really hard carries here on the side of OB Bathala, so it does make sense. Similar to how Ninja Alpha got addressed during their matches last week. They focused on the jungle and the mid side, and that kind of crippled the team. So OB Bathala, I think, given that they did perform a little bit well yesterday, they are also well prepared for today's matches as well. Jerwin did show a lot of good strengths yesterday as well, supporting all of his teammates. Braum getting taken down early is a good indication that maybe Bloodseekers would like to invest on maybe a Leona early here as a support. Maybe a Misfortune as well later on.
Yeah, those would be really interesting pickups, I would say. Most especially with the fact that, again, as you mentioned, Jerwin has been absolutely crazy so far in his support role. Looking already into the picking phase, actually, in fact, it seems like Bloodseekers will be prioritizing their top laner with the instant Renekton pick, actually. So they're really going for that bruiser-heavy damage dealing carry. That I would imagine they'd want to go for. In fact, I believe they do like to have a lot of those damage dealers, especially as Simon having played Camille against Bathala, doing fairly well. So I would imagine having a Renekton kind of fills somewhat of that role as well. So I imagine Bathala would want to go into picking their bot lane, maybe prioring that as well.
Picking up the Nautilus, it kind of indicates that maybe they would go for something like an Ashe, maybe a Kaisa, maybe a Zeri as well. Those champions that can actually follow up really well on an engage. And it's nice to actually pick up something like a Nautilus whenever there is a hard engaged champion on the other side. So given that the Renekton can easily sometimes slice through towards the backline, there is going to be someone that can actually handle him or at least suppress him for a while. Now the Kaisa gets locked in. What will be the response here of Bloodseekers? Maybe they can go with their usual champions, just like how they did yesterday. Maybe go with something like an Ashe, which is still available right now. Vi getting picked up just amplifies their crowd control even more, Abyss.
Yeah, actually, I'm a big fan of that. Having a Vi and Renekton on the same team basically makes it very hard to actually peel properly for your AP. And now that they're even picking up the Ahri, they're really going for a very heavy engage and like kite heavy team. Which again, knowing how Bloodseekers plays